What's your question?
Why didn't anything show up on my server? Like 2 and 3 are not connected when I want.
Did you add them? You have to add them.
I don't know how to do that.
It's manage and add.
I can't see your screen, so.
Well, unfroze the projector and showed my people here.
Now it works. So.
You should be able to read their thoughts and see what they're seeing on the screen. It should be that internetwork connected. That'd be scary. Okay. We may have some unplanned power outages because we had to restart because of security. We did cool security stuff. We hacked Wi-Fi. That was fun. Okay, so we got all 3 servers going, and what we said we were going to do, we were going to configure the disk on server 3, and we were going to push out, create an application share for Google Chrome, and we were going to use central store for group policy so that we can use third-party policy templates that will show up in the group policy managers. And that way we can manage applications. You know, like Adobe, Google Chrome. There's lots of applications that are written by people that are not Microsoft, and we get to configure them just like a Microsoft product. Even some Microsoft products like Office, you have to download and install policies if you want to control that application. That is our goal today. And our goal is to be on server 1 and to run file and storage services. And I believe we all looked to make sure that we had disk. We had disk 1 and 2 on server 3, or 0 and 1. So that's where we left off on Wednesday. And that's where we want to pick up today, is to be on server 1, be under file and storage services, and we're going to go to storage pools underneath volumes. We're going to create our storage pool just like we did last year. We got to add the pool into some type of physical disk array type, and then we're going to have to create a virtual disk on top of that, and then we're going to have to format that virtual disk with the file system. If you want to try to turn on data deduplication and stuff like that later on your own, you can. I don't know that I want to. It depends if y'all want to run through that again and set up data deduplication or not. But I'm going to go to all task and create a new storage pool. Click. Brings up a very beautiful wizard. It says, before you begin, and if you've not ever done something like this before, you should probably read everything. But I'm just going to go next on that. Storage pool name. Well, pool. What type of pools are there? Swimming pool. Sounds good to me. Go next. Physical disk. So we're going to be real careful here and make sure you click only that 50 gig disk, not the other disks that are in the list.
I don't have the disk.
I know physical disk. What about under disk? Did you not have a? They're not even looking at that page yet. You didn't have physical disk? Yeah, cancel that dialog box there.
Nope. Server machine. Sorry.
What about server 3? Is just server 3 with the disk? put one on there? It doesn't look like it. We didn't add one. You had to add a 50 gig disk.
It's so weird. I did. From, but I changed it.
Yeah, I don't see it. It looks like you created one. You gotta create a new one, 50 gig. There you go. Give it the, what is it? Monday Talon Server 3 Disk 2, I think, so we named them.
That might have been the day that I was online.
And do 50. And finish. Is it okay? All right, now go back to server 1. You'll have a disk show up. You may have to refresh the server manager. So I'm adding the physical disk, and I'm being really careful here to only select the 50 gig, and like I said, not all the others that are showing up. There's like 10 or 15 others in the list here. Waiting for somebody to chat and go, Mr. Goodman, I don't see anything extra on your screen. What are you seeing, Mr. Goodman? I'm joking. Wait, why can't I see my chat window? I don't know. So I'm going to go next. And I'm going to click create. I created a swimming pool. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Did anybody else get that error?
No, I'm still waiting for one of those.
Mine failed too.
Yeah, it looks like Jared's got that error. Cannot receive. Access is denied. Well, I'm going to refresh. And I'll try it again. It's a good chance the server manager was sitting there and just timed out the connection to server 3. Since the last time we messed with this was more than 24 hours ago. So after a full refresh, I'm going to try those tasks again. And then if it still gives me an error at that point in time, I will start thinking what to do. I'm creating a swimming pool. And that works. So at the very end of the wizard, I do have an option to check to create a virtual disk when this wizard closes, which is the very next logical step to do. Is once we've gathered all of our physical drives into a pool to deal with, now we want to create a physical disk on top of that pool and set it up under some type of RAID configuration. Being that we only have one disk in our physical disk pool, our RAID configuration is going to be RAID 0, or simple. So I'll create a physical disk, physical virtual disk. Yeah, that makes sense. Hit the little checkbox there, close that. Now we come up and we take our pool and we figure out what type of RAID level we're going to run, and then we're going to split the total capacity up into one or more virtual disks that many times spans 10, 20, 30 drives. So I'm going to hit OK. Now we create a virtual disk. It could be of whatever size that we want. So we will do venereal disease 01. Are y'all laughing at what I just said? Oh, why did nobody laugh at that? That was hilarious. Oh, wait, set it up again. What do you mean? Is it trying to go to the installer?
Yeah.
Well, eject your CD-ROM and then restart it.
no,
Okay,
it's
so-
weird, weird virtualist, like a virtual system. Figuring out.
So I'm gonna go check out and see what the heck's going on with your machine. So you're supposed to like remove that. Why do you not have a second drive?
That's all, that's it.
Yep. You swapped out, you didn't add the drive, you replaced your drive. And then we're gonna do a whole bunch of crap. There we go. 3 things at once, apply.
Now do I just start the folder?
Yay, it's done. Enclosure awareness. Well, this is not an actual NAS somewhere. It's just imaginary stuff that we're doing. It's on real hardware, but it's imaginary. I don't know. So we'll just go next. So we can do a mirror. It requires us to have at least 2 physical disks in our system. Do we have that many? Yes, we do, but we don't have that many in our pool. So we're going to go simple, and we're going to go next. Sure, fixed size, why not? Next. Maximum size. Next. And create. Sweet. And at the end of this little wizard, we've created a virtual disk based upon a portion or all of the space of the mini disk that we have in our storage pool, which happened to be just 1 and 50 gig in our case. Now it wants us to create a volume. So now we can actually, we've got a space that appears to be a hard disk. And now we want to create a volume on top of that. So this will create a partition, and we will format it with NTFS.
I keep hitting a very strange error when I try to create the storage pool.
Yep. Who's that talking?
That's Sean, but I'll have to share my screen, I guess.
And that's on your local computer?
Yeah.
What's it saying?
Do what?
Yeah,
It's saying could not create storage pool. 1 or more physical disks are not supported by this operation.
That's weird. You did refresh Server Manager, right?
Yes, I've tried that. That didn't work. I reloaded the server from rebooted them. That also did not fix the problem.
What if it's something with VMware?
That could be that.
What if did you add it in as an IDE or as a SCSI?
It's added as NVMe. That might be an issue.
Maybe. You can just partition it as normal.
Okay.
Format it as normal, and that'll get you through that.
Okay.
You won't use Server Manager. You'll use, well, what do you use?
You'd use computer management.
Not be able to use disk and do it from the disk instead of storage pools.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to do that from disk.
When I was trying to make the virtual disk, it won't let me go to confirmation. It's just like loading.
Or maybe the disk needed to be initialized.
Well, server 3 is apparently it wanted to go offline for some reason. I'll have to cancel the lizard and rescan, figure out what went on. I think it has something to do with our systems not being patched. Server Manager has some quirks where some cumulative patches fix. Okay, so I refreshed all of this, and now I can.
My virtual disk is frozen on the sides. It won't go to confirmation.
That sounds like Jared. What was he saying?
My virtual disk, it won't go to confirmation. It's stuck like loading.
That's weird. That's by the size of the virtual disk. You may have to cancel that and refresh your server manager. That's sort of, I had to do the same thing. I don't know why. I had to click refresh and then you can go to create a new virtual disk again after it refreshes. Haley? No. Jared, refresh one more time. Oh, you may have to actually click on swimming pool before it'll do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Name that VD01 underscore 01. That's simple. Yep. Cool. Okay, so my system, I don't think I formatted it yet. I had to refresh my server manager, and Jared had to refresh his so you can create the virtual disk. But now once your virtual disk is created, if you had to cancel out and redo something, you can right-click the virtual disk you created and create a volume on top of that. I'm going to create a new volume on top of the virtual disk, and we'll format it with NTFS, just leaving maximum capacity here, signing a drive letter. Drive letter that we set before. I guess the E is okay. Volume label. Data. Android. Yay. So I have E drive created. Oops, that's not the one I wanted to click on.
Real complicated.
Yes, I don't understand it. I can't speak English. Okay, so I'll record back again. We created a volume on top of our virtual disk. I want to check to make sure that the volume actually exists this time. I believe if I click on volumes, it will list all of the volumes across all of the servers that are connected. And I should have, there's a 60 gig, that's server 1. There's server 2. I'll collapse those down, and there we go, server 3. I've got a recovery volume, I've got a C drive, and I've got an E drive that's called data. We'll have to store pictures of data on that data volume. We'll have to store data about data on the data volume. So that will verify that you got an E drive created and it's on a storage pool. And if we wanted to, we could install the deduplication role service onto server 3, and we could enable data deduplication on that server if we wanted to.
For some reason, I have 2 volumes on my server 3.
Alrighty then. Windows did some weird stuff. I don't know what that other one is. As long as you have eDrive there, we're good. There went my server 3. It disappeared again. It's acting quite weird. Okay, server 3 came back. Well, server 3 is going to be a file server. We might as well add file services roles and stuff to server 3 so it can be fully functional and have all of the stuff that we need. I'm going to go ahead and manage and add a role and feature to server 3. And I'll probably go ahead and add on the data duplication since I have to add roles in the first place. So make sure it's got all of the things we want to do for file and storage services later on, like file screening and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and add roles and features. And we'll just be a role based. So on the select the server page, we'll pick our server 3. We'll go ahead and go next. That's where you just have to hit the refresh button and then do it again. You may really have to grab service packs and fill them on here for them to work. I don't know. It is a little bit annoying. That may be something we have to do next week is shut these down and do the offline patching of them again. Okay, let's look at, so server roles, we've got to install, I'm going to expand out file and storage services, file and iSCSI services. Server 3 is going to need to be a file server. Might as well go ahead and add in data deduplication at this time. File server resource manager, so we can have folder level quotas and file screening and all kind of cool stuff. File server VSS agent for volume shadow copy. That's really nice to have. So those 4 checkboxes are typically what you're going to want to do. And I might as well add in print and document services. And at some point in time this semester, we're going to be dealing with the DHCP server. So you can go and click on the DHCP server role. We can click and we'll configure that later on when we get to the chapter on DHCP services. But we can go ahead and add the role at this time. So we're adding quite a bit to server 3 because we don't do anything else in server 1 and 2. They only do Active Directory domain stuff. Well, server 3 is going to be our go-to for everything else. I've got DHCP server checked. I've expanded out file and storage services. And we've added on the 4 checkboxes: file server, data deduplication, file server resource manager, and the file server volume shadow copy agent service. We've also added in printing and document services because we will set this up as a print server and deal with printing permissions and other such issues. So at this point, I'll go next and I'll install all 6 of those services that we got checked. It asks us about the print server. Do we want to just be a print server? Do we want to add in an old school line printer daemon service that worked with Unix systems back in the early 90s or prior to 1998? We don't have any machines prior to 1998 running that's going to be connecting to our fake lab environment we got going. So we're not going to worry about the LPD service. So just next, it says me to do a lot of stuff about DHCP services. Cool, so I'm going to go next. And I'm going to install. If it doesn't work, we'll blame Matthew.
Oh, good, it's not you.
Everybody online heard that, right? We blame Matthew. He's the go-to guy to blame today. We'll blame Haley on Wednesday. Well, if we just blame Haley, and then they won't know who's actually the one being blamed.
Thank you, really clever.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should do all the time, is just blame Haley, because then neither Haley knows which one's actually being blamed. That's clever. Yep, very clever. I'll thank you for that. Yes. Now, if one of the Haleys is absent, then we can't blame Haley anymore.
Right,
Then they'll
we
know.
Go back to Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, we can blame Andrew after. If a Haley's absent, we have to blame Andrew.
I vote for Andrew.
Cool, all the features are installed. That's pretty neat. What? Am I read? It's just because the service packs aren't installed and server managers having problems. That's getting really annoying. Last semester we installed service packs and everything worked pretty cool. But with an unpatched Microsoft system, we start seeing what happens is, that's why a lot of people will not deploy a new Microsoft product for 6 months to a year, because stuff like this, we deployed out, the production release of Microsoft, and you notice how much trouble Server Manager is giving us. But if you patch the system, it's much better. Until you patch the system at a later date and they introduce new flaws and it screws stuff up, then you're sad for a while until they put out another patch to fix the patch that screwed up your system.
Are things
something else?
Are things supposed to show up in the shares box?
In the shares? No.
Okay, I was making sure.
There could be 2 things on share. Server 1 and server 2 will have some shares. That's it.
Well, nothing is showing up in my shares.
Yeah, that's what you should see as shares.
I mean, in the volumes, you had a couple things under shares, so. Well, now you don't, never mind.
That's your screen. You're looking at your screen. Mhm. But what was I was under volumes, wasn't I? Volumes. Yeah, there should be some
Yeah,
stuff under shares, but I don't know why there's not. It doesn't hurt anything though. If you look on the other shares and it shows some, then you're okay.
alright.
I re-added the disk as a SCSI instead of NVMe, and I'm getting the storage pool to work now.
Oh, okay.
What do I need to click again?
For what?
I've already got the swimming pool back. Where'd you go next? Volumes or? Oh, you went to.
I'll just check the box at the end, but if you've already got that, you can right click in the new virtual disk if needed next. And then after virtual disk, then you create the volume.
Okay.
So we're coming up here to break time. It's also a good time for anybody that's still trying to get caught up to get caught up. I'm going to start resume recording again. Break time's over, and we're back up to, we got our volume fixed and formatted. Now we want to create a shared folder. So we'll go to shares, and we'll create a folder so we can deploy out Google Chrome. We'll just, you remember how to create a share? We're going to go new share. Well, let's deploy out we'll do a quick share, it's the most common type of share. We'll do it on server 3 on drive letter E. I hope everybody remembers that from LAN 1 that you don't share stuff out on the C drive. You don't share stuff out on server 1 or server 2 either. They're domain controllers. We're sharing it out on the E drive that we just formatted and created. We'll go next. We'll give this a name like app deploy. And I'll add a $sign at the end of it. App deploy $, so it's hidden. That way, regular users are not going to be able to just be browsing the network and stumble across this app deploy folder, because we want to only let certain people or certain applications go to certain machines. So that's why we'll name it app deploy. I'm going to go next. We don't need to cache. We do always like to enable encryption. Unless your company is still running Windows 7, then you don't need to hit that checkbox. There may be some folders where you share where the copy machines are sending PDFs up to the up to a folder share. The encryption may not be allowed on some older copy machines either, or even new ones. They have to have depends on if they wrote new protocols to connect for security or not. I'm going to go next. Permissions. Now, permissions for app deploy. We'll go ahead and customize permissions. I hope everybody remembers what the share permissions are supposed to be. Do you remember?
Everyone full control.
No?
Read,
No.
change in full control.
Everyone should be changed. And then you should add, who should we add? You should add administrator. Yes, administrators with an S. And we can't find it in Contoso because we're on a member server and we're not on a domain controller. So you have to look at the server itself that you're creating the share on. And then you can type out administrators with an S. And then hit OK. They get full control. And your little double check is you look at the pictures and make sure that you see two people and not a single picture. The thing you should not see a single face in the listing. That way you know that you've got that applied correctly. So I don't want anybody to mess that up. If share permission set to anything else other than that, it typically does not work, causes some type of issue. Yes,
Mr. Goodman.
C drive. I think that Jeremiah asked the question.
Yeah, it will not let me type at all.
You're not using the light interface to remote in, or you're using the full.
Yeah, the full interface.
That's weird. I don't know why.
Like it just now stopped letting me type. Like it's not my computer because I went back to my Safari and it still lets me type.
I don't know what, but you may have to like close down the remote PC and open it back up. No, he's number 16. He's able to click and stuff, but he's got to do it on his side, so he's starting to click stuff. But okay, now
Yeah, I think I
permissions.
got it.
On the permissions, we have to change these. So when you want to take permissions away, you want to disable inheritance. So if any of these permissions need to go away, you disable and convert. And we want to get rid of users. And who do you want to have access to this folder? Well, these deployment shares, the applications are going to be deployed to, in our situation, not to user accounts, although you can do that. We're going to deploy ours to the computer accounts. We're going to use group policy and only assign to computer. We're not going to worry about assigning to users because then the user typically has to go find the application under as it's being deployed out, and they have to click that they want it installed on that machine. Users are not smart enough to do stuff like that, trust me. So we're only going to be deploying applications to the machines when they boot up. That way, all I need to add in here, other than administrators and system to have rights, is domain computers. So if I add and I select domain computers, and I give them read and execute rights, which is the default, and hit OK, that will allow the computers to run the installers and pull the information down to them, but it won't let any regular user get into the folder. Plus it's hidden. They won't be able to see that they're supposed to get in there. And that's your best setup for application deployment. I should hit apply and everything should set. And that's a really good note on how to create an app deploy share with high security. Only administrators and only domain computers have rights to that.
Do I need to allow caching of share, just encrypt?
No, you don't want to do cache, you want to do encryption.
All right.
So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit next, and I'll go ahead and create this share. I'll go ahead and minimize my server manager, and I'm going to enter enhanced session mode on my server 1. That way it'll allow copy and paste of files from my host machine into server 1. So that is clicking the little monitor screen on the taskbar at the top, and if it says enhanced session mode, that means you'll go into enhanced session mode if you click it. So that's what I want to do. I want to go into enhanced session mode. And I'm not sure what size. I'm going to leave it at that size right there. Let it connect. So with enhanced session mode, I can copy and paste stuff into this area. I want to deploy out Google Chrome. So what we want to do, we did this last year, but let's do it again. We want to go to a web browser. And just as a reminder, we want to download the enterprise deployment of Google Chrome. So Google recommends I search for one of these things like deploy Google Chrome Enterprise. So I'm going to search for that. And the very first link up here, Chrome browser deployment guides for Windows. I'm going to go ahead and click this support link for a Chrome browser deployment guide. And there's some PDFs to download. That's not as helpful as I wanted. Actually, I wanted to download Chrome.
Usually it type in download.
I have to spell download correctly, but okay, download the bundle. Download deploy Google Chrome Enterprise. So that's the first link here. Download the bundle. Chrome browser quick start Windows downloadable bundle. We want to download the 64-bit bundle. It includes all the MSI installers, the ADMX files, the legacy files. So that's what I want to do. Download the 64-bit bundle. And it's 100 megabytes. That's kind of cool. So this 100 megabyte file that I downloaded, if I show in folder, and that's the bundle that I want to drag over. What is it doing? What is compress? I don't know what it's trying to do. I want to copy and paste. Let's say right click, copy and paste. Worked. Drag and drop for some reason did not want to work.
Wait, what website did you say it was on?
So we just search for download Google Chrome Enterprise, I think. Download deploy Google Chrome Enterprise, something like that. And we went to the first link and found where we could download the 64-bit bundle. But we had to add the word download in there so we could find the downloadable file.
Yeah, I just didn't see it whenever I was on the. My first link doesn't take me to that same screen.
Download Google Chrome Enterprise. You need to scroll down a little bit. You got a bunch of ads, so if you scroll down a little bit, it's like the first link. It's not an ad. It's like has a number 1 beside it. Yep. And there's the 64-bit bundle.
Does the Google Chrome standalone enterprise installer package is something I want to install?
We're not installing it. We're going to be deploying it.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do, at this point in time, I'm going to open up Server Manager. I'm going to right click my app deploy share and right click on it and tell it to open the share. That's a real quick way to get to the share. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my Server Manager again. That way I can see my app deploy window, and I can also see my Google Chrome on the desktop. I'm going to open up my Google Chrome folder, and I'm going to position it where I can see both the compressed files inside the Google Chrome zip and my app deploy window. I'm going to open up the installers and the 67 meg and standalone installer. I will drag it into the app deploy window. That way it's in a central point that can be shared to all of the client machines. I can access that via Google. I'm at group policy. I'm going to leave this app deploy window open. I'm also going to leave the Google Chrome open, and I'm going to go back a level. I'm going to look under configuration, and I'm going to find this ADMX folder right here. This is Active Directory something files. So the ADMX file will have an English folder, and it'll also arrange this window.
Mr. Goodman, when you get a second, can you look at something for me?
What?
Oh, I have a little issue that is I think I set up my app deploy permissions wrong because it won't let me access it. It says I don't have permission.
Yep, it looks like you took away all your permissions onto that. What's your share? Quit clicking. Quit
Sorry.
moving your mouse.
Sorry.
Stop. Yeah, you got rid of everyone. You only have administrator. You have no rights in your system. I told you you can't. If you see a single face, it's not going to work. So none of those will work.
Yeah, I was a little bit behind whenever you were doing that part, so I didn't get to technically see it. So I just kind of freeballed it.
I can't add two at the same time. I only add one at once. Everyone has changed. Administrators have full. And it was the main computers had read and execute. Uh-oh. Yeah. Should allow you access. Why did share go back? What the heck?
Did you hit apply?
Yeah, it did apply before.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
It was applied the other permissions. There you go.
All right, appreciate it.
So the ADMX files, what I'm going to need all these ADMX files. I'm also going to need this this English file up here, English US. But let's look at a quick Google here. Create a group policy central store. So how to create a group policy central store. It's fairly easy. You need ADMX files, and we got those. Let's see how to create the central store. There's a bunch of administrative templates for other Microsoft Windows versions and stuff you can install, but how do we actually set up the central store? So here, create a central store, you need a policy definitions folder placed under your domain name, sysfall.condosa.com policies. So you copy everything into that. So let's see how that we can do that. Let's go ahead and open another File Explorer window. Expand out this PC. Expand out the C drive. Expand out Windows. Inside the Windows folder, you'll find a policy definitions folder that is for the local group policies and stuff on the servers. I'm going to copy this entire folder that already has all of the pre-built-in group policy settings. I'm going to copy all of this. The folder's already named correctly. That was directly under Windows. We're copying the policy definition folder. I've right-clicked and copied it. Now, in the address bar, I can navigate to my domain by doing condosa.com and hit enter. That will bring up the listing of shared folders. I can open up sysfall. I can open up the Contoso shortcut. I can open up policies. And inside of here is where I'll paste that policy definition folder that I copied. When I click paste, it'll paste the entire folder. And it retains. I didn't have to create the folder. If I can copy it, I don't have to worry about naming it. And it gets all of those pre-built definitions. Typically, when group policy is launched, it checks this policy folder first to see if there's any policy definitions. If it does not exist, then it goes to the domain controllers Windows policy definition folder to pull up the information for creating these group policy objects when you link them. But now that we've got this here, anytime that we run the group policy editor, it's going to check this folder first to see if there are any policies out there. This folder, if we open it up, it contains ADMX files, and it also contains an English US file for language-specific information about all of the stuff that's in ADMX. What we're going to do with the policy definitions folder opened up, and we're seeing all the ADMX files, we're going to make it to where we can see policy definitions and our Google Chrome ADMX folder. I'm going to copy all the ADMX files at the bottom. Thank you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. You can copy these ADMX files into the policy definition folder under the sysfile. I'll paste those in. I now need to open up the language folder, English US. I need to open up the language folder that I got from Google, English US. And I need to copy the ADM language files and paste them in. So it requires both files for it to show up in the group policy management tool. And that is how that you create a group policy central store. Not very difficult. Microsoft has a website that tells you how to do it. Real simple. Copy the policy definition folder into the proper domain name, sysfile, domain name again, policies folder. And then you can place the language and text files in the appropriate spots. You can verify that we have installed the policies for Google Chrome correctly by launching the group policy tool in Server Manager. It will be in your taskbar. So if I open it up, I can edit any policy now that already exists, and I can look to see if Google Chrome shows up as a policy that I can set. Most third-party policies will end up under policies and administrative templates. So since we installed Google Chrome, I'm going to open up policies. I'm going to open up administrative template. And I'm going to see under administrative template if I now see settings for Google Chrome. Do you see anything that mentions the word Google under administrative templates?
Google Network, Google Chrome default settings.
Yeah.
Google Chat.
Wow, dinosaur Easter egg game.
Oh, old classic. Don't disable it.
Disable that. We do not want our employees playing the dinosaur Easter egg game when there's no internet. So I can now control Google Chrome and many aspects of Google Chrome. Look at all of the policies that I have control of. That's a lot of policies. So last year, we ended with, I believe, deploying out Google Chrome with group policy. This year, we become advanced Google, not advanced Google. It's good to be advanced Googler because then you're a really smart IT person if you're an advanced Googler. We learned about group policy management, and we could install controls for third-party products, non-Microsoft products. When new Windows feature versions come out, you can go download the new ADMX files for the brand new version of Windows. So if you're wanting to control specific features that are new in the 2004 build number of Windows 10, you can go download those and put them into your policy store, and settings for the new version of Windows will show up in here. You can control. So that's pretty neat. What did I want to do? Actually, I want to set that to not configured. I didn't really want to make modifications to my default domain policy. I'm going to go ahead and close that. The only thing I really changed in my default domain policy is the password settings for every user in the domain. Any other type of policies, I would create another policy and give it a new name just to keep any type of weird configurations separate. It'll make things better. So what I want to do, we don't want to deploy Google Chrome out. I want to deploy it out to every machine. Or just the workstations. I say we deploy it out just to workstations. To do that, I'll need an organizational unit created. So Active Directory users and computers. We'll create a new organizational unit for what do we want to name it?
Vladimir Putin.
I can't spell. I'll name it Workstations. Because we're only going to have basically one client in there. So I'm going to put Workstations. That will allow me to create a policy to deploy Google Chrome to Workstations. And the policy could also do some things like, let's not disable the dinosaur game. Let's deploy Google Chrome, let's play the dinosaur game, and then let's set a policy where dinosaur game's not allowed, and we'll see that it should be blocked. We probably won't get that done today since we're getting kind of close to the end of class, but we can create the policy and deploy it out. So I'm going to go to Tools, Group Policy Management again. When Group Policy Management loads up, I'll expand out the forest until that I can find workstations. So once you find workstations, you can right-click workstations and create a new GPO and link it here. We'll name this Google Chrome deploy and policies. That is, I believe, descriptive enough.
It could have been a little more descriptive with that, but it worked.
So we'll hit OK. And I'll edit this. Right click, edit the Google Chrome deploy and policies. We're deploying this to the computers. So we will look under computer configuration. Under policies, you have software settings and you have software installation. Once you highlight software installation, you are able to right click, go to new package. Y'all did this last year. We're able to go // server 3.intelso.com. Probably the best way to type it out. Use the full path. Wait, oh yeah, my folder is hidden. I'm gonna have to put app deploy $. I was almost like, where is my share? And then I realized we hit it.
A little bit. I'm a little bit.
Awesome.
I'm a little lost.
was awesome. So we got a few lost people. We'll finish this and then we'll this is almost the last step before we're done deploying it. So I'm gonna hit open, or I have to enter, I guess, at the $, enter, click Google Chrome, then click open, assign it. And that's what we wanted to complete today. We wanted to create the central store. We wanted to copy the Google Chrome to the app share, and then we wanted to deploy Google Chrome. So that was our goal today. We've done that. Haley says, can't find the file specified. An appropriate resource cannot be found under. Okay, hit okay. That's weird. Just keep hitting okay. Let's see why yours is causing weirdness. So your app deploy looks good. We're copying that. Let's look over here. So yeah, policy definitions, pasted those. Those look good. We got the Chromes in there, so that looks good. We did pull the English US ones. Yeah, so everything looks good. What may have happened is it may not have synced between the server 1 and server 2 quickly enough. So you've got that assigned. Let's simply relaunch. Am I looking at mine again? Where did yours go? Yours flew over there. I was too. I was like, yours looks perfect. Okay, there's yours.
You sure you don't want me to go over there and get coffee, please?
Oh, I see. Probably best of it. No, so hers like flipped over into the monitor. You got me really confused. Okay, so now what am I looking? I'm looking for, is Chrome in here? Yeah, Chrome's in there. What about? Put them in. So you can search by type, and then that way you can grab the ADML files. No ADML files should be in there. So I hit the type column. There's the ADML files. I can drag those, move them into the US. So that's what it couldn't find. And now that now you can close out group policy and how many group policy windows we have open. I want those closed. What is going on? Okay, they did close. Now when it opens back up, it will not throw an error. Mid you deploy. So that's where I have to do / server3.contoso.com app deploy $. Not Contoso, server3, sorry. server3.contoso.com.
I think I had the same problem. I'm not sure what.
The / and the share that you created app deploy $. And then enter. And then click Google Chrome and click open. And that will be okay. You're caught up. So Jared, was that Jared?
Yeah, I think I had the same problem.
Okay, were you able to fix it?
I'm not sure. Are those the files that shouldn't be in the policy definitions? The top ones?
Hey, remote control and C. So policy definitions. So search by type. That's good. Well, we do that is Chrome. The Chrome's in there. That's good. What about English? English, do we have Chrome? It looks like yours is correct.
Okay.
This file, the policy definition, English, the ADML files. Let's make sure you don't have an ADMX file. Nope. Yep, you got ADMX files in there. These files may cause issues. So I'm going to delete those. Back here, though, which I don't know when they were. Those are all the Google Chrome ones. So, yep, that looks good now. All you had was, you also put ADMX here, which may have caused some issues. But they're gone now.
Okay.
So that looks good. All righty, in this class, let's open up a big bucket of
Do you only sign out send white on keyboard or on keyboard and then like that?
you have to sign out first and then wipe down your keyboard.
Okay.
Mr. Goodman,
Yes.
I am also slightly behind, but also I think I'm having a different issue.
Okay, I need to stop, pause my recording. Because now we're within the class, so